Welcome to this mellow spiraling sling sequence. We'll be focusing on the deep front line, opening, glide, and also tone. Of course, we are moving the whole body, so all other lines are involved, and sometimes they're quite, feelably involved. Always bring your awareness back to the deep front line and feel that deep stability and strength, and also openness it provides throughout the sequence. So you can join Lucas and me sitting in the middle of the mat or a little bit forward, so you have enough mat behind you. The feet are hip distance and parallel, or you can close the legs, whatever suits your body best. Hold on behind the knees, draw back from the heels a little bit so you get even more lift. Pelvic floor is fairly relaxed here. The deep spine extensors are elongating, lifting the spine. Inhale. Exhalation, engage through pelvic floor, abdominals roll halfway back into a C curve, draw back from your lower abdominals, inhale deeply into the back of the ribs, the lower back, and then exhale, roll forward. It's called a spine stretch. Inhalation, sit up on top of the sit bones and elongate the spine. Really easy, minimal effort. Exhalation, curl back. So that's strong engagement, deep abdominals, of course all other abdominals as well, but your focus is deep. So I'm layering in. You're rolling forwards over the thighs. Baby snake is an extension, lifting through the sternum, long spine extension from here. Exhalation, roll back from the pelvis all the way up to the neck. Inhale, and then exhale, roll forwards over the legs. And then into long extensions, starting at the top, thoracic spine into the lumbar. Exhalation, rolling back. You can let the breath flow. Fully engage pelvic floor, all of the abdominals, drawing the belly wall back. The spine extensors are lengthened, but they're still providing elongation for the spine. Slide the feet along the mat until they lift almost by themselves, and then roll back slowly over the sacrum onto the lower back, and then relax the shoulders, hug the knees towards the chest, place your head on the floor, hug the knees close, completely relaxed position here. Pelvic floor, abdominals, neck, everything relaxes. Shift the knees away from the chest into a tabletop position. Take your arms up towards the ceiling, and then open your arms out to the side with the palms facing up towards the ceiling. Float your left leg onto the floor, so foot down, and then float your right leg down. Place your feet and legs into a parallel hip distance position. Ground the heels. With your next exhalation, let the pelvis sink in its centered position. Let the breath flow. If you like to use imagery, you can imagine a ball inside of your pelvis, centered on your sacrum. Inhale. With your next exhalation, tilt the pelvis back. Let that imaginary ball roll onto your lumbar spine, your lower back. Lift the pelvis. Inhale. And then with your next exhalation, you're curling up further. And that imaginary ball is rolling to the lowest ribs. Pause with your inhalation, lengthen out of the knees, and then keep rolling up, and let that imaginary ball roll up to the shoulders. Inhale on top, and then with a fluid motion start to roll down. Let that imaginary ball open each segment of the spine until the pelvis is centered and the ball centers on the sacrum. Inhale. Exhalation, initiate the pelvic curl again, tilting the pelvis back. This time it's a fluid motion all the way up, flowing breath, letting that imaginary ball roll all the way up to the shoulders, lengthening out of the knees, and then start to roll down again. And you let the ball roll over the front of your spine, opening the back of the spine until the pelvis is centered and the ball is centered on your pelvis. Keep it really centered. Inhale. With your next exhalation, leg float, left leg. Lift the left knee above the hip, tabletop position, and then float the leg down. Place the foot on the floor lightly and change side. Exhalation, right leg, leg float. So we are mirroring you. And then step down. We are moving one more time each side. So left leg is floating up, the pelvis stays centered, lower the foot, and that imaginary ball is very centered on the sacrum, right leg, one more time, and then floating down. Keep the feet on the floor, take your left knee out to the side, keep the pelvis very, very still and stable. The ball stays stable, lift the left knee back up, and then take your right knee out to the side as far as it goes, keeping the pelvis stable, centered, and then lift the knee back up. Now I'm adding on. So left knee out to the side, as far as it goes, and then let the ball roll over to the left side. The right side of your bottom is lifting. It's a twisted pelvic tilt. You are lifting up, opening the right side of the hip. And now let the ball roll from the left side back to the center, so the pelvis centers and your left knee lifts back to the starting position. Right knee out to the side. It's called a knee drop. And then a twisted pelvic tilt. The left side of the hip is lifting, the left front of the hip is opening up. And then lower that left side, center the pelvis, and lift the knee at the same time. I'm layering in. Inhalation here. And with your next exhalation, right leg first, leg float up, pressing the left foot into the floor. Inhalation down. So first really still, very, very stable, left leg floating up. And then place your left foot back onto the floor, right leg one more time. Keep the right leg lifted. Let the breath flow. So your thigh is vertical. And now you're rotating the hip joint out. So the foot is pointing over to the left side, so across the body. Center the leg, so the foot is pointing straight forward, and then rotate again. So you're turning the femur around its own axis. Center the leg. Go one more time, rotate. Keep the leg rotated. Now it's like a reverse knee drop. So the knee is moving out to the side towards the arm or the elbow, and then you let the left side of the pelvis lift, and if you like, you can lower your thigh all the way down onto the floor. Reverse knee drop, twisted pelvic tilt, and then center the pelvis, lift the knee, bring the knee above the hip, and align the foot with the knee and the hip joint. Float the leg down and change side. So left knee floating into a tabletop position, press the right foot slightly into the floor, and then turn the thigh out. So the foot is pointing across the body, center the leg, turn it out again, and center around its own axis. One more time, rotate, hold, reverse knee drop, keep the pelvis stable, that imaginary ball on the sacrum, and then the ball starts to roll on a diagonal up, almost towards the thigh. If you like, lower the knee down to the floor. The right hip is lifting, opening up in front, and then you are lifting back up. Now the knee doesn't need to touch the floor. You see how you go. Anything's good here. Center the leg, lower your foot down to the floor. Slide your heels a little bit closer towards your bottom. And then again, that fluid feeling. So from the centered position, let that imaginary ball, with your next exhalation, roll onto your lower back, lift the pelvis, pelvic curl, rolling up. Fluid breath, fluid motion, rolling all the way up, lengthening out of the knees. Press the heels down into the floor, and then roll down slowly. One more time, very smooth, all the way down until the pelvis is centered. We do it one more time. It's too good to just do once. So left leg, this time, float it up. We just do one rotation. So you're turning the leg out, the foot is coming across the body. With your next exhalation, slowly start to lower. And then let the breath flow. Bring the knee as close to the floor as you like. Open to the front of the hip. Whenever you are where you want to be, inhale. And with your next exhalation, center the pelvis, lift the knee. With your inhalation, center the leg. So the foot is turned to alignment with knee and hip, and then float the leg down. Ground the foot. Inhalation, leg float up. Exhalation, turn. With your inhalation, slowly start to move out, but then it turns into an exhalation as you start to lift the opposite side of the pelvis into a twisted pelvic tilt, and you keep the breath flowing until you're in the position you want to be. Strong engagement here of pelvic floor and abdominals, and then lower the left side of the pelvis, lift the leg. That's initiated by an exhalation. And with your inhalation, you center the leg, toes in alignment with the knee, floating down. Inhale. Exhalation, tilt the pelvis back, lift the pelvis off the floor, pelvic curl. Last time, rolling up into a shoulder bridge position, letting that imaginary ball roll up towards the shoulders. Press the heels into the floor, the balls below the big toe into the floor. And then start to roll down just halfway and pause. So you can either roll down the way we usually do, or if you like, you can place your hands now to the side of the pelvis, place your thumbs on the inside of the hip bones, and just to open the back of the pelvis, or at least give it a sense of openness a little bit more, you can press your thumbs lightly in, and then with your hands bring the top of the hip bones together, so there's a sense of opening up in the back of the pelvis, creating room for the sacrum. If it's actually happening, at least it should feel that way. So it's really lovely. And then when your pelvis is on the floor, let go of your hands. You can release the pressure, center the pelvis, take your arms out to the side in any way you like. Slide one leg out and then slide your other leg out. Completely relax the legs. Let the legs flop out. Let your head be really heavy. So just for 30 seconds, give your body time to absorb all what you have done and all the good intention you put into the movement and into your body. And then start to wriggle your fingers, wriggle your toes, lengthen the body, take your arms overhead, really big, long stretch. Slide one leg along the floor, hug it in close to the chest. And then slide your other leg in, hug it in close. Open your eyes, blink a few times. And then we're waking up the body surely. If this is not your home, you have to go somewhere, or at least change room. So lift your head off the floor and start to rock forwards in a really in a relaxed way, but a little bit dynamic. So use momentum of rolling like a ball, keeping it easy until your feet are on the floor. And then you can open your knees out to the side into a comfortable sitting position, whatever is comfortable to your body. Take your arms out to the side, reach from the crown of the head, take your arms overhead, spiraling. Inhalation to your right, open your arms to shoulder level, spiraling twist. Overhead, arms to the center. And then to the other side, inhale, spiraling twist. Arms overhead, open the front of the body, inhale. And then a very relaxed round back, big circle with the arms, keeping the front of the body open. And then take your arms out to the side center, let your arms relax. Thank you very much.